Hi everybody, my name is Rob Day and I'm chairman and founder of Blueprint Interiors. We're a workplace consultancy and strategy business based over in Ashby-de-la-Zouch, and we design and fit out commercial interiors, primarily office design. What I'm going to invite you to think about now is, if I say the word the office, most people I think are going to think of lots and lots of desks, people sat at probably the same chair at the same desk, possibly access to meeting suites, meeting rooms, maybe a sort of restaurant or a kitchen or a cafe, canteen, or ideally something a little more sophisticated at some point during the day. But otherwise a fairly routine and, if I might say, institutional work experience. So what's happened with the drive to take people out of the workplace to protect them ostensibly from COVID and invite them to work from home? What's happened is it's created the opportunity for both employers and employees to reflect on that experience. So for employers, a lot of employers have realised that offices can be quite expensive places to run. From the employee's perspective, a lot of workers have actually experienced more choice in this last 12, 15 months working from home than perhaps they had when they were based in an office. And the return to the office for many people is actually quite an unpalatable concept. If you define that kind of office, the office pre-COVID, we've described it as a bit like battery farming. So the picture of office workers pecking away at keyboards in their rows and rows and rows of desks, and that we know how unhealthy battery farming is for chickens and all sorts of other livestock, and it's definitely, we believe, unhealthy for human beings. What we would rather see is companies creating built environments for their employees, their colleagues, by considering them more as free range, if I continue that metaphor. So, think of people as free range and how happy and varied life can be if you created an environment where they didn't just sit in the same place and peck away at the same thing all day long. It's important to acknowledge that people have worked hard, have put up with difficult conditions, but also that you recognise that we've all learned something, and perhaps to invite them to come back and sit at that same chair and same desk isn't particularly appealing. The idea of creating variety for people is a very significant factor in what we believe is good office design practice. Human beings are complicated. We're more than just simple animals. We have complex mental and emotional needs, and if those needs aren't met, then we get just as ill. So if we don't eat, the first thing that happens is we feel uncomfortable. Second thing is we get ill, and the third thing is ultimately it could be fatal. You can starve to death. And the same thing is true with human beings' mental and emotional needs, essentially their overall well-being. So physical well-being is vitally important, but also mental and emotional well-being equally important. And so what I'd invite you to consider is, let's be honest, hands up, those people who work in an office who've never felt stressed and been made ill by the environment or by the culture in the business that unfortunately hasn't helped you at that particular time. And that's all of us, let's be honest. We've all felt that at some time. And so this realization that physical, mental and emotional well-being is core to business success, frankly. So it's kind of obvious. If your people are your most important asset, you need to make sure they're healthy. And if they're healthy, they'll be happy. And if they're happy, they'll be productive. And from a business's point of view, if they're productive, they're profitable. And the whole sort of happy cycle continues. The important thing here is this scales across every type of business. From a business with a couple of employees through business with a couple of thousand employees. We've worked on some of the largest physical offices in Europe with a couple of thousand people under one roof, and we've worked with companies who have 5 or 10 people. And the principles are the same. It's people focused, people first. Whatever you design and build, you need to have a clear picture in your head of what it's doing for your people. If you create a space that creates interest, variety, and stimulates people's thought patterns and process and behaviour, you end up with a vastly superior outcome, a vastly superior operating business, and really healthy, happy and productive people. So the notion that one person at one desk for 8 hours a day, for us as being patently ridiculous, it's a nonsense. Why would you expect people to be able to do everything they need to do in that one location? So our designs create extraordinary diversity, variety, stimulation. They allow people to be private. They allow people to get to the information they need when they need it, wherever they need it, whenever they need it. We create spaces for people to mix, to socialize, because that's another vitally important component of being a human being. We need to communicate. We need to build teams. We need to feel that what we're doing together is worthwhile, and to understand what other people are doing to help us, and how not to to conflict with other people in other teams. So these are some very specific examples, and you can imagine there are as many different solutions as there are people in the world, frankly. To close, and thanks very much for your attention today, folks. What I want to leave you with is the idea that your return to the office, workplace design, is all about people. It's about your business creating a culture based around the recognition that people are your most important asset. It's Richard Branson that said, if you look after your people, they'll look after your customers for you. I know he's a Marmite character, but never a truer word in my book. What we're trying to do now is to help our clients understand that by creating a built environment that supports a culture of entrusting their people, empowering their people, and allowing them to deliver fantastic results for their clients and their business.